Hello, everybody. I am back after I don't even know how long I was gone, just making really long videos. But today I am doing a review on the Marvel Legends Daredevil Born Again Daredevil. So here we are. There he is right there. And first and foremost, here is the packaging on screen because I threw the packaging in the garbage, which I deeply regret. But yeah, really cool packaging. Lot of red, that's for sure. Great artwork. I really do regret throwing those boxes and the Fantastic Four ones because they're so cool. But anyways, yeah. That is the figure, and let's be honest, this figure, a quick overview, this figure has been in the making for a long time. A new Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again. And again, I got excited, so unfortunately I missed my pre-order, but he later went back up for pre-ordered him again, and overall, he is a really good figure. But is he the best MCU Marvel Legends figure? Let's find out, starting off with the painting and the sculpting. So, the painting and the sculpting on this figure. Honestly, the painting and the sculpting on this figure is really impressive. They really captured the colors and overall the suit texture really well. It's not just a complete reuse of, it's not just a reuse of the original figure from like 2017. Goodness gracious, it's almost like 9 years. But it is a very good figure. Starting off with the head here, look at that likeness. It is, of course, you could argue, yes, it's not perfect, sure, but it is pretty darn close to Charlie Cox. And the overall detail with the eyes, the horns, and the subtle basketball texture is really cool. Overall, it is very nicely well sculpted. Even down to the neck here, very nicely sculpted right there. Nice collar piece too. But overall, head sculpt, very nicely well sculpted. Love the overall beard and just the general new sculpt for the helmet. Looks very brand new, looks awesome. Moving down to the arms and the torso, very nice. Again, very nicely sculpted. However, I'll probably show on screen right here, apparently there was some missing details like the silver here. There was a little bit of missing silver, which is a bummer. Especially as well on certain parts of the arms as well, and on the belt over here and the straps. But I don't think it's that much of a deal breaker. If anything, you could argue that the main critique is he's way too dark compared to the suit, which the suit is very light. But honestly, it's not too much of a big deal for me. Yeah, I know it's very dark, but it doesn't bother me. I do love the subtle details again, especially on the back, very nice, and how everything is like seamless together. And again, pinless joints. This is something Hasbro has sort of had a problem with, especially on older figures. So I'm glad that they're doing pinless joints. Again, our details, boots, they look really nicely well sculpted. The straps and everything. Although again, you could argue missing details like the silver buckles and everything like that are present. And unfortunately, this kind of does annoy me that the red is showing. But honestly, other than that, I think this is a very well sculpted Daredevil. The details pop really nicely. The likeness to Charlie Cox is there. You could argue it's basically perfect. And overall, he's such a very nicely well sculpted figure for the price of, again, maybe 35 Canadian dollars or $25 US. This is very nicely well done. So yeah, very good sculpt. Now moving on to the accessories. For accessories, Daredevil comes with quite a few, and this is where I get to really my nitpicks of this figure. He does come with billy clubs, very nicely detailed. Love the silver. It's very shiny, that's for sure. Which, yes, you could argue makes the unpainted silver parts look like an eyesore. He also, and this is the biggest issue, he only has, for alternate hands, 2 fist hands and 2 open hands. Again, I don't understand why Hasbro is doing this. I don't know why they can't just do, 2 fists and 2 gripping hands, or 2 gripping hands and 2 open hands, or just do all out. 2 grips, 2 fist hands, 2 open hands. Why is it just this. It's so annoying and it's weird. Now, of course, if you've seen a Marvel Legend, you know how it goes. Right here, just plug it in, use a little bit of heat if it's too difficult to actually pop in, but overall, really nice. And if you enter the store the billy clubs, you just store it like this with a bottom under here. Very nice. And then moving on to the next accessory, he has a cable, which unfortunately is not made out of bendy wire, which is a bummer because this had the potential to be really, really cool. But yeah, it just pegs in there. There's peg holes in the billy clubs, and you can just splay it like so. And overall, like, it looks cool, sure, but it's like you have to kind of angle it in the right way. And frankly, there has to be a better option for you to just put a bendy wire there and then coil it around the cable. I don't know. But overall, it's not bad. It's just, I don't particularly use these accessories, and I am a tad bit disappointed with the accessory loadout. But overall, not a bad amount of accessories. Would have preferred a screaming head, but it's okay. So yeah, now moving on to the articulation. Daredevil here is amazing in terms of articulation, but there is, again, one problem. Actually, two. I'm going to get the first one out of the way. This elbow here was so like easy to pop off that I had to put like a lot of nail polish over it because it's just way too loose. But anyways, he has a disc at the neck, but there is an extra ball joint at the neck too. So he can actually look up a lot more and down a lot more. He can tilt from side to side and all the way around just on the disc. He has these Deadpool and Wolverine styled or McFarlane styled rotator cuffs, so it doesn't really go out that much. Not too much for a butterfly joint too. His arms can go out and they can go in. There is a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. There is a wrist swivel here and a hinge joint on his fist and open hand, and a hinge that goes up and down on his gripping hands. He also has a waist swivel, and he also has a diaphragm joint that can go down this much, can go back this much, and can tilt from side to side. His legs are pretty mobile, although I do wish he had more of a, let's say, drop down hips. You can kick up this far, can't really kick back, can go to the sides, can do the split that much. He has a thigh swivel here, a double jointed knee, and unfortunately there is no boot swivel, which is a bummer because for a character like Daredevil, he can't really do that many acrobatic poses. He still can, but I mean, not to the extent as, like, let's say the Mayfix or any other Daredevil. And of course he has ankle articulation that can go up, down, and pivot. So overall, despite the no calf swivel, he is very fun to pose, and honestly, for what they did and the subtle improvements like the neck and the torso, it is amazing what they did. It's awesome. It's so much fun to pose. So now let's move on to the size comparisons. So for size comparison, Daredevil is almost past 6 inches, and he's slowly to the 6.5 inch mark. And as for comparisons, as I'm just gonna handpick them, here he is compared to the Punisher, right here. Obviously, I haven't really like posed him fully without the gun and everything, but he stands pretty nicely. And here he is compared to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends 10th year anniversary Captain America. So overall, he scales really nicely with your MCU figures. Now let's move on to my final thoughts. So, overall, is this figure really good? Yes. Is he the best Marvel Legends figure from the MCU? I'd say so, yeah. I mean, yes, there are some minor things. Yes, the red is way too dark, and yes, the boot swivel is lacking, and the hand accessory choices is odd. But for the the sculpt here is very nicely well done. The likeness to Charlie Cox is great. I know mine has QC issues, but I'm gonna assume and hope that yours doesn't. So there's that. The articulation, despite the boots, the lack of calf swivel is not that bad. It's actually pretty good, especially that neck joint. I really hope Hasbro decides to continue forward with that neck joint because it is so much better than the previous joints. The disc, the double ball joint, doesn't matter. It is so much better. I love this neck joint so much. And overall, if you're looking for an MCU Daredevil, I highly recommend this figure, especially since the older one is not only a very sought after, but also very, very just outdated. It's very outdated. So you're better off just paying for this one, which is really, really cheap. So yeah, out of 10, I'm gonna give this guy like an 8.5 out of 10. Very fun figure. I recommend it to anybody if they want to get into Daredevil, if they want an MCU version. It's a great figure. So overall, that's my review. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.